Today I'll go through the transfer. So I'll log into the NLIS database. So next slide, please. Firstly, you have to ensure that, and I've just seen a lot of the Q&A, they're always talking about tagging all the livestock. Make sure all the animals are tagged with an NLIS approved device. So goat tags for goat, sheep tags for sheep, and cattle for cattle. They have to be tagged before they move off the property. And when you're moving animals off your property, fill out an LPA NVD. It's part of the LPA program. So if you're LPA accredited, then you need to ensure that you have a correctly filled out LPA NVD. That can be the book or preferably the ENVD, which John will talk to you about a bit later. Next, please. So it's in every state and territory now, it's mandatory to upload data to the NLIS within 2 days when they arrive onto your property. So if you're purchasing animals, particularly from an online auction or from a neighbouring property, it's your obligation to notify the database. So online auctions don't do any transfers. A lot of people come to us and say, "Oh, the agent said they were going to do it," but when we talk to the agent, there's a misunderstanding. So please ensure, and I'll show you how to do this, and I'll show you how to check in a few minutes' time. So make sure that you do the transfer within 2 days in the NLIS database for all livestock coming onto your property. And always ask for an NVD. It's your guarantee of that stock because it is a declaration. It's a signed declaration by the person who's selling the animals to you. And keep them handy. Keep them for 7 years as part of the LPA requirements. Next slide, please. There's a bit of information here. So some of the questions I've already answered. All sheep and goats born after 1 January 2025 need to be tagged with an EID. Before that, older stock can be with a visual tag. So there's just some information there which you can read later. HRG or harvested rangeland goats we talked about. So they are exempt provided the picket source is part of the HRG program. What do you need to do? You need to get the list of tags, either the electronic tag using a scanner or the NLIS tag if you want to visually read what's on the animal's ear. Maybe a bit hard, so it's not the preferred option, but if you're only buying one animal or two animals, it may be an easy option just to eyeball or get your camera out and take a photo of it. Have the NVD with you. So when you're doing the transfer on the NLIS database, have the LPA NVD paper ready or the ENVD document handy. Log into the database, and I'll show you how to do this. You want to notify the database of a movement, type in the details, and we'll see how you check. So next slide, please. And I'll go through the demonstration. I've purchased some sheep. I need to do those transfer the sheep onto my property. That's my legal obligation. So livestock have moved onto my property, sheep, goats. We've also included SA camelids, which are alpacas and llamas. So click on this. There we go. Now we'll do it on screen. It's a lot easier. So we're typing the details manually on screen. And we've got 6 questions we have to answer. This is where we enter in all the tag numbers. Sorry. Some tag numbers I got earlier. These are the tag numbers. Now, these are the visual tag numbers. So that's the NLIS ID, the number printed on the outside of the tag, and these are the numbers embedded in the tags. So you don't need to do both for the same tag, but I've just put them both up here so you can see what the difference is. So if you just get the visual tag, that is your eyeballing them, you use that. If you have a scanner, you get these numbers. So where are they going to? They're going to my QAZZ property. I've got 2 properties here, and they're coming off my So this is my drop down. So they're moving onto my property. I've got 2 properties linked to this. Although both these properties are mine, I still need to do the transfer. still need to have an LPA NVD. So when asked for the LPA NVD, we'll just do the 7, 4 7s, 4 8s. We're moving today, and we've actually got 30 head. There's not 30 tags here, but if I'm still buying animals that are older animals, this does two things in one. This does the individual tag transfers, so the electronic EID transfers, as well as the mob. So it does both. Now, if it's the same number of head, then you put in 8 and 8. So if there were only 8 animals, you bought 8 lambs, you simply just put the head count of 8. But if I had bought 18 animals, sorry, and 10 were not identified because they're older sheep, because they're born before 1 January 2025, you do that, hit continue. Now it's confirming. Do you want to move these animals, number of head, the property they're going from and to? You go, yes, hit send. Now it's sent it off to the database already. And this was the original file that gives you a receipt number, transaction number. We actually call it an upload ID. So that's your receipt number. And we've broken the file up into 2. This is the movement of those 8 individual tag numbers, and this is the movement of a mob of 18. So I'll click on my transaction history down the bottom. And obviously the video will be you're able to see the video and go through it. And simply saying what's happened is it's all worked. So it's all complete. So there's been no issue. We've got the upload ID. And if we want to look at the file, we can click on the file, and they're the tag numbers. So they've all moved from this property to this property, and they're all fine. So there's no issue with the tag numbers. They've been transferred, no problem. So we click on close. And these are hyperlinks, so you can click on them, you can open them. This is the second file, which doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but simply saying the number of head is 18. So as I said, it breaks the file up into 2, the individual animals, and then the total head count. So it does both in one hit. Close that window. And the very last thing, go back home. Now we want to check, did that happen? Or if someone told you we've done the transfer on your behalf, the agent said they've done it before you, or the person who you've purchased the animals from said we've done it for you, you go and you run a report. So the top half is when you want to change data, the bottom is to run reports. So I'll click on View, Generate All Reports. Now we'll look at livestock that have been transferred onto my property. What's moved on here today? There's the 8 head, which we just transferred now. That was the NVD number I just used, today's date, and there's the 8 individual head of animals I just moved. So that's how you do a transfer. That's how you check if the transfer has gone through. You do that through the transfer history, but you can also confirm here again. So it seems pretty straightforward. Obviously, the most difficult part is obtaining the tag numbers. Get that using a reader. Hopefully, you can ask the person who sold you the animals if they have a reader or scan them. So that's the most difficult part. Apart from that, just copying and pasting data on screen. Just make sure you select the correct species, so sheep individual, goat individual. We don't have cattle individual, which has always been individual for cattle, so that'll always remain there. And if these aren't there, make sure you go into your home page and you want to change your types of livestock. And thank you. Yeah, hopefully you can go back through this video. It was pretty quick, but yeah, go ahead. Thank you.